fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Voyager-class Cybertron Universe Override from the Transformers Legacy Velocitron Speedia 500 collection from Hasbro. So that is a bit of a mouthful. The Velocitron Speedia 500 collection is kind of a subline of Legacy that is exclusive to Walmart stores. I actually found this in store, even though I had pre-ordered on Walmart back when they first went up for pre-order. But in typical Walmart fashion, they're just throwing everything in the stores and not really fulfilling the pre-orders. My pre-order got delayed until October, I think, even though it was supposed to come out like last week. So they are out. They're in stores. Your pre-orders probably have not been filled, but you have a decent chance of just finding it in the store. So we actually have some horizontal packaging for a change. We've had a lot of vertical packaging recently where everything comes packaged in robot mode, but we're actually kind of having these packaged in vehicle mode, which makes sense because it's kind of a racing theme. You know, the Velocitron Speedia 500 is like the big race on Speedia, or Velocitron. It was Speedia and Galaxy Force. I think it was Velocitron in the US dub Cybertron. In any case, it makes sense to have these packaged in vehicle mode. So you still have the plasticless packaging. You can kind of see this is an open window here. You can just reach right in and touch the toy, but you have some really nice artwork here of the robot mode and the vehicle mode. And then you have the Planet Speedia or Velocitron logo from the Cyberplanet keys from Cybertron. The packaging just kind of has the artwork wrap around a little bit to the side. It's kind of funny how there's just a lot of blank space over here. I guess they didn't want to just put the full robot mode over here because they wanted part of it to be on the front. Over here you have kind of what I was just talking about, where you just have a close-up of the robot mode on this side. Not really much going on the bottom. Up here we just have the vehicle mode again, and then spinning around to the back we have the robot mode and the vehicle mode. So pretty cool packaging. I like it a lot. Very colorful, very fun. Kind of like the return to the in-vehicle packaging as opposed to always packaging everything in robot mode, so I think that's kind of neat. I'm going to go ahead and get Override out of the packaging here, and we'll take a closer look. So here is Override in vehicle mode. She looks fantastic, rolls very well, as you can see. A lot of great paint applications. You have some red down here, really nice metallic blue. All of this red patterning and trim looks great. Gold trim here on the cockpit. You have some gold paint here on the wheels, which are otherwise translucent. You can see some gold here for the forearms and the shoulders in robot mode, which we'll see a little bit more of in a moment. You do have the head poke out here, but I feel like that's an homage to the original toy, because it did that as well. You can see the back here is a lot more streamlined. The original toy was significantly wider in this section, and that led to Override having a ridiculously wide like chest area. And I just think that they've really found a way to fix that, and we'll see that more in robot mode. You can go ahead and attach the gun here to the back. It very easily just pegs in. So if you want to leave that off, you certainly can. I'm just going to go ahead and pop it back on. You can hear it clicks in very nicely. But yeah, all in all, it's a really great vehicle mode. You can't really deploy the gun sections in the vehicle mode because of the way it flips around to the front, and that would kind of, you know, hit into the back of the head, but it's still an absolutely fantastic looking vehicle mode. Let's go ahead, let's get into transformation. Okay, so I've gone ahead and removed the gun. I don't think you have to, honestly. I think you could leave the gun on the whole time and the transformation would be fine. It doesn't really get in the way of anything, but for simplicity's sake, I just went ahead and removed it. So first up we're going to do is go ahead and just lift up the canopy here, because it does have two tiny pegs that peg into the legs, so you would just want to go ahead and make sure that those are unpegged. And then we're going to split it down this seam here in the center. So we just have to disconnect these two sections like that, and then the legs will flip down like so. Like that. Now you're going to just go ahead and push these up. And there is a little peg inside there. You can see the peg is right there. And it's going to peg into a spot that's deep inside there. You don't really have to worry about lining it up because it'll just automatically do it. Just go ahead and push it until you hear the nice click. Then you're going to go ahead and fold these red sections up as far as they'll go. They hit a logical stopping point. And then that'll allow you to get clearance to fold the feet out. And then you're going to take these sections, and you can see that there's kind of a tiny little spot right here, which is going to hit onto this tab right here. So you just fold this in, and that will close up a little bit of that empty space on the back of the leg. I mean, it's not all of it, but it does fill in a little bit. Then we're just going to go ahead and rotate at the thigh so we can make the feet face forward. And as you can see, we're pretty much done with the entire bottom section there. So I'm going to go ahead and angle the camera up here a little bit. Come around to the back and you will see that the hands are kind of grabbing onto these posts. So you want to go ahead and pop them down. You can see they're holding onto them right there. So we're going to flip those down, and then you can kind of flip these at the shoulder all the way up a little bit. They do kind of loosely tab into each other, so you want to kind of go ahead and flip that around. Now they're going to spin around with the wheel, very similar to the original figure. So you're going to rotate that around to flip the arms out. And you can see what I was talking about here with these little tabs on the side of the shoulder pads. That's how they tab into each other in vehicle mode. So now we're going to come to this section, and this whole assembly here, you can see there's a hinge right here that's going to flip down. So this is going to come down like this, and then rotate down and click into place like that. Let me zoom out. Now we're going to untab these pieces from the back here. So it's going to lift up. You can see that there was a little tab right there that was holding that in place. And then you're going to kind of spin this around. You have these kind of double hinged pieces. So you get it to about here. You're going to bring the canopy down, and this whole section is going to come down once on that hinge, then come down again and click into place. And that reveals the head. This section here, let me zoom in a little bit. This section here is going to slide in. But as you do that, you kind of have to line up some tabs. So as you start to like slide that part in, because there's a tab there, which is going to click into a tab there. So that slides in and tabs in. Then you have to swivel this up, and then this tab slot and this tab slot have to hit this. And where is it? Down here? That's right. Okay, so this here, this tab has to go in there, and then there's a tab slot here, which is going to go in there. So you have to kind of push this in, so that tabs in, then bring this up, and then you kind of have to, oh, you know, I don't have this down all the way. This has to go in and tab in, and then bring this up, and then kind of just wiggle it a little bit, but then you have to make sure that this tab goes in as well. So you have to kind of use that swivel from the shoulder when we rotated the shoulders around with the wheel, and then once you get everything tabbed in, it's really nice and solid. So again, swivel this up, push that in, that clicks in there, then bring this up, kind of rotate that in, and then that all really tabs in nice and solid. And then here we go. We have our robot mode. Actually, there's one last step. You have to rotate the fists 180, which is easy enough to forget. But there is Override in robot mode. She looks fantastic. They did such a good job with this. I love that ability to push those sections in and then rotate them up and tab them in, because it gives her a much more natural, you know, just proportions for everything. The original toy had a gigantic blocky chest that was way too wide for the figure, and they have fixed that here. These proportions look fantastic. All of the paint applications are beautiful. You have this really nice gold here on the shoulder pads, on the forearms, here around that trim for the cockpit, which obviously is prevalent in vehicle mode as well, but really looks perfect here in robot mode. If we take a closer look at the face, really beautifully painted. The gold there for the face is nice. You have some beautiful metallic blue there for the eyes. Some more blue here on this head crest, all the red detailing. She does have light piping, or at least was made with light piping, but then they painted the eyes blue. Personally, I think it was a better choice, because I think that metallic blue on the eyes really pops and looks fantastic. I don't really need her to have light piping, so I definitely think this was the better choice. You can go ahead and absolutely just peg the gun back in. Like I said, you really never had to remove it if you didn't want to. If you want to store the gun there, absolutely fits. Doesn't really hang down any lower than this section already does, so it doesn't get in the way of any kind of articulation. At least no more so than the backpack already does. So you can absolutely store that there if you like. But the head is on a rotation. There's really no ball joint. There's no back and forth. There's no side to side. It's really just a simple rotation. But it's fine with me. You have a swivel here for the shoulder. You have a hinge. You have a bicep swivel, 90 degrees there in the elbow. And of course we have the wrist rotation like I showed off earlier. You do have a waist rotation, but it does kind of hit into the backpack there, so not really much you can do about that. But she can kick really far out to the side. She can kick really far forward. Again, you're going to hit into that backpack when you get to about there. You do have the thigh swivel, which we utilized for the transformation. I would say you have over 90 degrees there in the knee, and then you do have some ankle tilt. There's not a ton, but she does have a little bit of ankle tilt. Has a little bit of front to back as well in the ankle. So really, really nice. Really great robot mode. Absolutely love it. She came out really, really great. I'm really happy with this. Like I said, my biggest complaint from the original toy was how blocky and wide the chest area was. And they've really trimmed that down to proper proportions. And she just looks absolutely fantastic. I love it. Let's go ahead and take a closer look here at the gun. So you do have a port here on the top where I guess you could plug in another weapon. You do have these cannons that flip around. They're not spring activated. There's no spot for a planet key or anything like that. They kind of like molded this in to make it look like it was there. And you could almost plug it in. I don't have one handy. I kind of wish I did. I wonder if you could plug it in there just to have it kind of hang out there while she's wielding the gun. Obviously, it's not going to do anything because this is not a spring-loaded feature. You just rotate these out. But you do have some really nice red paint here for the barrels, which looks good. Like I said, I wish I had a key handy, but they've long since been packed away. But it almost looks like you maybe could just kind of sit one in there just to where that notch ends. You can rotate these down a little bit if you want. They do have kind of like nice little ratchets. You can kind of hear them click into place. Looks like you only have two options. They kind of stop there. But it's still a very cool gun, very reminiscent of the original toy. And that can go ahead and just peg into her hand very easily. But yeah, I have no complaints. I really don't. The only thing I could even think to complain about, which I don't really care about at all, is the fact that the backpack does kind of hinder the waist swivel. That's the only thing I can really think to complain about, but it really doesn't bother me at all. If I was pressed to find something to complain about, and it's really not that big a deal. Honestly, this is a pretty perfect figure. I really, really love this. Transformation's fun. It works. I love the way you have that section that can push in and swivel, and it all clips into place very solidly for the chest there. Absolutely works. The paint applications are beautiful. The vehicle mode's fun. It rolls well. Yeah, I can't think of anything bad to say. If you can find this one, I definitely recommend picking it up. Like I said, it is a Walmart exclusive, so hopefully it's not too hard to find. But I walked in and found one. They had a ton of haulers, and they had one override. But I've seen a lot of people finding her in store. So I don't, hopefully, knock on wood, think it'll be too difficult. So hopefully everyone who wants one can get one, because this is a really great figure. And I hope everyone can get one because it's really, really fantastic. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.